Get us started. Hello everyone, welcome to. Today we have a very exciting episode on how the Belt and Road initiatives are opening up opportunities for everyone. So today we are here to learn a bit more about the value and the roadmap to entering the United Nations and Belt and Road competitions, and also on how to access opportunities like representing your country at national exchange. Apologies, I accidentally muted myself. And how to approach creating papers and articles for your academic profile in China as a foreign student. Okay, so for new people that are here today, you might be wondering, what is the Rising Talent series? So we are a community where we also focus on the professional development space for young entrepreneurs and students all alike in China. So if you're looking to start an entrepreneurial project or initiative and you're looking to get more exposure, or you're simply just looking for a space to network and build your connections, this is the place for you. So now I'll hand over to Ella to go into a bit more on our media partners.
All right, thank you, Nick. I'll just also quickly mention there how this webinar came to be is Santiago has a very impressive LinkedIn profile, and that's how we actually got in touch with him. So it's super, super lovely to have him here today. We're going to show his LinkedIn at the end. I really encourage you guys to follow him. Quickly, we're just going to shout out three of our media partners. So first is Expat Services. So they help us with the promotion of these events, but they also share a lot of very interesting networking and educational events targeted for foreign expats. So really recommend you to check them out. You can check them out on WeChat and LinkedIn. And the next slide, thanks, Nick. And this is another thing. So we're currently looking for guests. So be you an expert in sustainability, or you're simply a young entrepreneur with a passion for, green initiatives, we'd love to have you on. It's a Shanghai-based podcast, but also if you are very, very interested, we're open to interviewing you if you're, anywhere in China or the world. You can get directly in touch with me, or you can also send your CV to the email there below. We'll share it in the group chat later. Next slide, please. Thank you. And then, so another really cool thing. So we're an event partner with the CG Incubator, which is an amazing incubator located here in Shanghai. It's very much geared towards green tech. But now they've opened up their volunteer positions for young university students. So preferably if you're in Shanghai, but the rest of China also works. They have 4 really, really amazing, positions available. And it's aimed to be this soft landing into the professional experience, especially if you are trying to balance your university life and also you want a bit of work experience. So definitely, Pablo is here actually from the CG Incubator. So you could probably directly message him if you're interested in it. And to the next slide, introducing Santiago more.
Yes, so Santiago, like Ella has mentioned, he has an outstanding LinkedIn profile, which hopefully you'll get a chance to check out. And some of his more notable experiences also include winning 4 United Nations Model Awards, as well as receiving the bronze medal for teams in 3rd International Simulated Practical Negotiation of Belt and Road Initiative, and also taking upon the role of being a researcher for economic and social councils for Latin America. So without further ado, I will hand over the screen sharing rights to Santiago to get us started. Now, let me see how
It should be at like the very, very top, I think.
how do I stop screen sharing?
Move your mouse all the way up to the top of the screen and it should be like.
Got it, thank you. All yours now.
Okay, thank you so much, Ella and Nick, for your amazing presentation. And I'm gonna present my screen now to continue with the webinar. Let me put it the first page. Can you see now on my screen?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay. Antonio, thank you so much for the presentation. Today we are going to talk about how Belt and Road Initiative can open up opportunity for all of the students around the world. My name is Santiago Cabrera Grajales. Nice to meet you, everyone. Our content that we are analyze is firstly about me, personal academic experience, perspective on the Belt and Road Initiative, on how Colombia students can study abroad in China, experience living in China, and integral management corporation. About me, I have won several United Nations in Colombia, as Nick already told you. I won 4 different United Nations models and I have a really strong opportunity to know more about the structure of United Nations, and it was an important part of my academic performance in the current time. I also learned I am an American Economic and Social Council researcher along these last 6 years, one Belmont researcher from the age of 15, international economy and trade bachelor student at Shanghai University of Political Science and Law, and I have participated in Belt and Road negotiation model led by East China Normal University. That is the photo that you can see on the right part. And also I participate in narrative competition led by Shanghai Normal University. It's a little part of my presentation. Okay, taking into account my awards in United Nations model, one of the most important one was the model that I represent Mexico. I was the delegate who represent Mexico in ECOSOC Commission, Economic and Social Council. The main topics in that commission was economic war between China and USA and China One Belt One Road initiative. I win this proposal with Latin American Economic Alliance, and the word was the first that you can see in the upper pile, like this blue one. The American Economic and Social Council. Economic and Social Council of Mexico. This was my proposed because in the last part we plan like Latin American Economic Alliance. So the first proposed in this United Nations model was like a mix out, like a block, like a group of economic Latin Americans country to link with China, with Chinese One Belt One Road, and have a better opportunity to get the advantage to have a economic develop in our region using this amazing Chinese One Belt One Road initiative that I will talk about in next pages. So the Latin American Economic Council is an autonomy body who analyzes public policies in China. Actually, when we start this kind of activities, I had the opportunity to contact with some people from Mexico who already analyzed this Latin American and Social Council. The Latin American and Social Council is a tripartite dialogue between companies, government, and citizens, using council as a mechanism to link Mexico and China, and in the future there will be a Latin American Economic and Social Council network. So what is the relation between my proposal of the block of Latin American country to link to China and the One Belt One Road initiative and the Latin American Economic Council? Latin American Economic Council in the first time was this autonomous body who analyzed public policies in Mexico, but also when we start analyze the possibilities to use this mechanism, this council, as a way to link China and Mexico, we found that is a really useful tool to link China and Mexico, and it can be able to help us to analyze China and try to see One Belt One Road initiative. And this is the two important parts of the Latin American Economic Council that I propose. Meeting with Chinese delegation, taking into account this proposal of Latin American Economic and Social Council and my talk about China and what we want to do in the future with China and something like this, I had the opportunity to link with 3 different delegations from China, and I had a very important virtual meeting with them. The first one was in August 12, 2020. I represent Colombia at the exchange conference between the governments of China and Mexico, led by Kroc. That was one of my partnership in Mexico that helped me to continue with this process, and the Federation of Trade Union of Henan Province, made in Henan Province in that opportunity. The second one was in October 13, 2022. I represent Colombia at the second exchange conference between government of China and Mexico, and also led by our partnership Kroc Mexico and all China Federation of Trade Union. And the last one was in May 18, represent Colombia at the meeting between Kroc Mexico and the Economic and Social Council. I also had the opportunity to publish, to post two important articles, two important papers, the Road to China magazine in the Colombian and China Friendship Association. The first was What Do I Like About China in December 2022, and the second one in the same magazine, Road to China, Belt and Road History, Progress and Challenge, like a more deep relation, more deep analysis about how One Belt and Road is in the present time, in the present. Yes. Continue with the One Belt One Road researcher. So I have the opportunity to know more about it with this Economic and Social Council, with the meetings, with the paper, with the relation, with the partnership, and I began like a One Belt One Road researcher. And try to link Latin American countries, especially Colombia, with this important infrastructure project, and try to share this kind of knowledge with everyone who are interested in. More about my education process. International Economic and Trade Bachelor student at Shanghai University of Political Science and Law in Shanghai. I am studying international economy and trading in my university. Some classes are mostly taught in Chinese, but some are in English. My major, I think, is one of the most important careers, especially in Shanghai, because, for example, if you're taking into account that I already mentioned, these content are really important part of my profile. So if I study this career, I can expose myself to different fields that help me to link China with Colombia and Latin America in the future. I also full scholarship grant by Shanghai government that I also talk about it. Competition and awards, One Belt, One Road negotiation model. It is a competition led by China University. I have won the bronze medal of negotiator. I think this activity was a turning point of my academic performance, my profile, because in that opportunity, I just had an important experience. I learned a lot about the Chinese students, and I learned a lot of my team. So we need to, in that opportunity, we make like a negotiator vision to try to have to make agreements according to the Chinese law and One Belt One Road structure. I also participate in narrative competition organized by Shanghai Normal University. I also go at the third position. It was an amazing experience, and it was the first time that I used Chinese to participate in a competition, and we also have had an important position in that competition. More than my perspective about One Belt One Road initiative, everyone knows this kind of initiative what is, but I want to focus or highlight some important things that helped me in this presentation. When was it found? One Belt One Road initiative was found in 2013 by China's President Xi Jinping. What is it? A series of trade strip and route to connect China and the world. What does it point to? Integral connectivity through infrastructure project, develop free commerce treatment in the region, and promote economic and social culture. What are the single country and benefit of it? Currently, there are more than 151 countries who are already seeing this agreement, and these are the benefit of it by 1%. I want to highlight an important point taking into account the last information. If you can check in the map, you can see in the map, Colombia and Mexico, one of the most important countries that have taken a role in my profile, doesn't have in the present doesn't have an important agreement with China, especially in One Belt One Road initiative. So it's really important to make these kind of activities to promote the investigation, to promote this research about One Belt One Road initiative, especially with the people from Latin America like me, to try it in the future to sail this kind of idea and link China and Colombia or Mexico or in this network with all of Latin America to the One Belt One Road initiative. We can check the benefits of One Belt One Road in terms of investment and infrastructure projects. Okay, we're gonna continue with another interesting part of the presentation, and it's how a Colombia student can study abroad in China. We need to take into account the Colombia study abroad limitations. The first one is the education system. In terms of education, our Colombian education system have had many mistakes and lack of effectiveness. This is important to understand because some of the investment that they need to put in the education actually are in other fields of services. For example, in infrastructure projects, for example, in recreation, something like this. But we need more investment in education to promote the talent, to promote the student to have better education, to understand Colombia, to understand other American, and to understand the world and have a successful in their career. Mentality, shortage of basis for international mentality. At this point, have a close relation with the first one, because if we have a good education system with good education resources, we also will have a good mentality. We also have an international mentality and an open mind mentality to understand different culture, to understand that Colombian culture is not only the best or the unique culture in the world, because there are a lot of culture that are interesting to understand, to explore, to discover. Promotion, lack of promotion and develop of international education. I think the word of Nick and Ella is really important in terms of promotion, because they are promoting a lot of people over around the world, especially in China, and related with China, have an important talent, an important value to share with another people. And we also want this in Colombia, and also I also want to promote a lot of talent, a lot of research that I will mention it in the last part of the presentation. We found an opportunity to study abroad. Firstly, we need to be passionate. If we feel like we can make better, or we can study abroad, we can study in this country that you feel that you want to go study, you will do it. So be passionate is the first step to study abroad, and also to achieve all of the dreams that you have. Make an idea or plan to develop in your target country. As I already mentioned in the last pages, I had an idea, I have a plan, I have something that can move me, can help me to go to this target country. That was the Belt and Road Initiative, the Economic and Social Council, and the potential of Colombia and Latin America to link with China in terms of One Belt and Road Initiative. And if you wanna study abroad, you also need to have a target country and a plan to develop in that country. So it's really important. It's a really important part to take into account. Looking for and find the ways to reach your own opportunities. When you are passionate, when you have a target country, your plan, you just need to looking for an opportunity, looking for a university that can supply the requirement that you need, and the education requirement that you need, that you already need, basically. So this is also important part. For example, I have chosen Shanghai University of Political Science and Law, because in that university they have a One Belt One Road investigation center, and I also will stay in China after my study of bachelor degree, because I want to explore more of it in a good university, in a good investigation centers, to help me to understand more of this wonderful initiative. And then prepare your trip. You need to prepare your trip to China, for example. In my case, try to understand how you can go there, what kind of thing do you need to stay in this new country, and prepare yourself for the cultural shock and something like this. And finally, work hard and enjoy the time study abroad. You need to enjoy your time there. You already have an idea, be passionate. You already found university and prepare your trip. So you need to study hard. You need to make a lot of friends and something like this. This is like a basic structure of what do you need to do. For example, in my case, the China government aims to grant scholarship to international students, promote the education, social and cultural exchange, because China have an important policy that is like make double classroom. So they just wanna invite, they just wanna grant a scholarship to international study to make this double classroom and make like an international environment in all of China's classroom. We're gonna take a short look about types of scholarship. We have the Chinese Scholarship Council, Shanghai Scholarship Council, and also One Belt One Road Scholarship Councils. I made a little explanation about all of these three scholarship and their characteristic in some cases. For example, in eligibility rate in CSC is low, in CCC is high, and in One Belt One Road is medium. And the time to apply depend on your university in the three cases. And the important and covers is high because depend of your scholarship and your type of scholarship. And the university in some of the cases, if you want to apply for CSC, you have the biggest opportunity because they have a lot of university. Recommendation letter in some cases is not necessary, in some cases it's really necessary, and bilateral agreement, especially with One Belt One Road initiative. If you want to apply with it, your country basically needs to sign like agreement with China. Okay, taking into account my experience living in China. Firstly, in the first time when I came to China, I had a huge cultural shock. I feel like I was alone. I don't have my friends. I don't have my family. I don't have the typical food in my house. It's totally different country. And in the first time, it was really hard for me, really uncomfortable. But I think it's one of the most important part of the process, of one of the most important steps on this process to acclimate, to involve in the real Chinese culture. Another thing is the way to discover a new totally different language. As you can see, I am Spanish native speaker. I also can speak some English. So in that opportunity, it was really hard for me because Chinese language is totally different regarding of English or Spanish. So it was really amazing to know a new country, a new totally country with a new totally culture in this process. Make new friends, visit memorable and amazing places. When you study abroad, one of the most things that I can recommend you is try to make friends, especially Chinese friends, know more about the real culture of China and try to visit the places. For example, in Beijing, we have a lot of historical places that I really like. Face the challenge of living in China and study degree there. When you already have 2 months or more, you will start your career or your degree in China, especially if it is in Chinese, and it will be a challenge for you that you need to face, that you need to. I just recommend to be more stronger that this challenge, to try to avoid the limitation, the obstacles in that process. And finally, the most important part, the better, the wonderful part is the gratification, joy, and recognition of China as a second home. I see China is my second home because I already passed these steps, and I also will discover more and more obstacles, differences. But this is one of my most important part, that I feel like China is my second home, and I want to explore more about China, more about language. I want to do my best in my career and also participate in this kind of special events. As a final part of my presentation, my webinar, I want to present my greatest idea now that I working in. Is in the Integral Management Corporation. What is our corporation focused on? It's a platform. It's a platform It's a way to connect Belt and Road researchers around the world. Where we want to go? We want to become an important turning point in terms of China-American relation and human Belt and Road analysis. We promotion, inspiration, and investigation. We want to promote new ideas, inspire talents, and continue working hard for our Belt and Road investigation. So in a few words, this is my new corporation, my new researcher center. I just wanna link a lot of researchers over around the world, especially in Latin America, in a community, in a network, to go forward to the research of One Belt One Road, because as you can see in this line, it's also a line time. I already researched a lot of One Belt One Road initiative, and I also want to link a lot of talents, a lot of researchers that are interested in this project, and also we want to get to have like an economic recognition in that process, and make so a lot of friends, and have partnership promotion, and do our best in that corporation, in that investigation center. So if you want to know more about it, you can check out my social media, or in the future corporation social media. And the last part, you can add my WeChat, and in the left side are my social media, so YouTube channel, Instagram, and something related to it. And the final part, I want to share with you some images of photos that I didn't have face in the last pages, so I just use this part to show you this kind of a special part in the embassy, in the Tiantang, and the palace, in the Great Wall in Shanghai, and in activity, in an international cultural activity, that every of it were important in my life. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Santiago. That was actually both educational and it was very, very heartwarming as well towards the end. So now we'll move on to the Q&A session. If we can share that slide. And you guys can feel free to ask Santiago some questions now. You can type it in the chat, or you can unmute and you can ask him directly. Or actually, I can also ask the first question to kick it off. So very, very good presentation, Santiago. I saw at the beginning you were sharing a lot of conferences that you attended. And I'm quite curious to know two things. One is, did you have to speak Chinese at this conference, and how good is your Chinese? And then number two is, how did you get invited to these conferences? Because I think that can be so beneficial for students, but oftentimes the biggest problem is not knowing the right people. So like not knowing how to get in. If you can share those two things, I think that would be very beneficial.
Okay, thank you for your question, dear Ila. In the first time when I attend this kind of meetings, I didn't have the Chinese language proficiency, so I in that opportunity I didn't speak Chinese, so I just present like a document, like a presentation, also in English, because they also have a translator in the same time, so they can send what I want to say. In the talking about the second question, it's an important question, because needed a lot of like a researcher or investigation background when I talk this when I attend these meetings. So if you really want to attend this kind of meetings, you also need to like develop your own idea. For example, in my case, One Belt One Road initiative, Latin American groups, networks to link with China, and you need to like a contact the promote the real or the most important contact that help you to participate in these kind of meetings. It was like a long process, because in China, if you want to participate in these meetings, you need to have a good background, and also a help of like a partnerships. In my case, it was like this Mexico crack partnership, this consult center. So they helped me in that opportunity to participate in the meeting. But everyone, I think, can participate into this kind of activity. It just only have an investment background, and try to expose their idea in social media, or like in a consultative investigation center, to help you to continue develop it and participate and expose these kind of ideas in these meetings.
Right, okay. No, that makes perfect sense. So I'm curious, did you use LinkedIn? Did you use WeChat? We're always quite curious how successful people in China are using LinkedIn now. Like, is it worth it, or
What?
were you using LinkedIn, the messaging platform, the job platform, to reach out to people?
Well, I think LinkedIn is one of is one of the most useful platform, the social media, I think so, because in through LinkedIn you can find a lot of work opportunity, a lot of international or really good jobs. For example, in my case, as you already mentioned, and I think it's a good part of it, I use LinkedIn to link to a lot of Chinese people, and you also can use LinkedIn to link with these Chinese researchers and try to participate. The most important thing is just expose, as I already mentioned. So LinkedIn is one of the platforms, is the space to expose yourself to everyone, expose your profile. And if you want to take this meeting, it will appear in a step-by-step process. You need to have good background, and you will have these opportunities.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Okay, yeah, perfect sense. Okay, does anyone else have a question?
If you don't mind, I stand right there. I've got one I want to ask. So I just first of all want to say that I really liked your sharing. Thank you so much. That was really insightful and also really heartwarming. Also getting to hear about your experiences in China and all the valuable experiences and memory it's brought for you. I did want to ask, like, upon like coming to China and experiencing like education, living, and mixing and mingling with the people here, what would you say are the certain skills this experience has given you that will perhaps set you up better for the future?
You mean social skills?
Yep, anything in general.
Social skills. I think one of the most important part of the success way journey is the social skills, actually, because through social skills you will find a lot of people, a lot of strange people that can be in the future your close friend, your partnership, your contact, and help you a lot in your academic performance way journey. So I think, as you already mentioned, Nick, one of the most important parts is social skills. And in China, if you can make a lot of friends in China, it's like represent that you are very involved in the culture, because when we go to China in the first time, we can feel like, for example, Chinese are pretty introverted, you know. But when you can speak their language, when you know about culture, you can share these little things with them, and they will be really, really happy. They will be grateful about it, because a foreign people really far from China know these kind of things. And it's try to move the hearts of Chinese people, of your friends, of everyone, to have contact, not only in an academic way, but also in a social way.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. And I also noticed in the chat, Stella had a question, I believe, if you'd like to type it up, or feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.
Yes, hello, Santiago. Nice to meet you. And very great webinar I've heard so far. And one question is like I want to ask you because you are a fresh graduator and your preference is to be an entrepreneur or just like to work for a very skilled company. Hello. Hello.
Oh,
Hi.
hello.
Yeah. My question
Can you
is
repeat the
like,
question?
yes, I'm going to do so. And as for just for you personally, are you going to be more willing to be an entrepreneur or just find a job working for a very skilled company?
Oh, thank you. Well, I want to continue investigate this kind of thing, especially because I am bachelor degree student, so I have like actually I have 3 more years to graduate. But in the future, when I graduate, I want to have this kind of opportunities, jobs opportunities, and try to have like an economic recognition, have a salary about it, and also share time with a lot of researchers. As already mentioned, I am preparing this integral management corporation to link a lot of researchers over around the world, especially Latin America, and also make it as my job or like a future plan to earn money or expose my ideas.
Okay, so what's your preference what's your preference occupation?
My preferred occupation, well, I want to have like a investigation center commitment, for example, Or for example, and in the same way as I am study my degree, I also want to trade a lot in Colombia in terms of One Belt One Road initiative.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Stella.
Actually, one more question. Desmond was asking, do you have any like recorded meetings, like from your previous conferences, Santiago?
Thank you for this question. I actually have had a lot of videos in my YouTube channel and LinkedIn and Twitter that the strongest social media. And you can check out these kind of videos, these kind of meetings in my profile and try to understand more what I'm doing. And if you are interested, you also can contact my WeChat and also this social media.
Okay, perfect. Someone still uses Twitter. That's good to know. All right, so if anyone doesn't have any more questions, it's actually super early as well for Santiago. He's in Colombia. So we're not going to keep him longer if there's no more questions. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, thank you so much, Santiago. And yeah, all of his LinkedIn is on the screen, but our group chat is also on the screen, so feel free to join and we'll share all of his contact information in our group chat as well if you've missed it. Thank you everyone for coming. Have a lovely rest of your evening.